right center. That ball is gone into Monument Park.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the 33rd episode of the Monument Park podcast. If somebody had knocked on Luke and I's dorm room door and say late March and told us that the Yankees would be the first team in Major League Baseball to reach 50 wins, I personally would have questioned that person's mental state. Now, if he had told us that we were on June 22nd, 12 games up on the Toronto Blue Jays, 12 and a half games up on the Boston Red Sox, and 13 games up on the Tampa Bay Rays, I still would have been questioning it. What if this hypothetical guy told us that the second best team in the American League, the Houston Astros, would be 7.5 games back of us, the number one seed? Oh, and our 15-18 record would be the best in Major League Baseball. I probably would have looked at him and smacked him because that sounds like nonsense to me. I would have totally not believed that. Nonsense, like I said, and it's been unfreaking believable because whatever that hypothetical guy said came true. Luke, put it into words, man. Can you even put it into words?
Getting to 50 wins before 20 losses is like a joke. And there have been expectations going into past years. Like 2018, if you told me that this was happening, I would have been like, yeah, we just went to the ALCS. We just got Stanton. Like, we're the best ever. But this year looked like a team that was good enough to keep us in the race for the division, like going into late summer, September.
Yep.
It looked like a team that could compete for a division. But we're killing these teams. And a lot of it was inflated expectations for other teams, and then a lot of it was also lack of expectations for us. Like, it was the perfect combination of this not being the year. And so far, I mean, we're running through this division. We're currently in the hardest stretch we're going to have to play, and we're doing fine. Like, we're doing good still. We still have 18 losses June. If we get to July with less than 20, like, obviously we probably won't. We got a lot more games until July, but if we get to July with less than 20, 22 losses, that would be like probably a record. So I've never experienced something like this. Even 2009, we were slow out the gate, so it didn't feel like this. Like, we just win every night.
We win every night, and a lot of people say just like sit back and enjoy it, like, because it's a long season, and I feel like the Yankees are just going to run away with this. They're just going to coast into the playoffs. The second half of the year is going to be kind of boring. And, what's going to be interesting is what they do at the deadline and then how those guys play. And then what, like, the moving parts. That's the only thing that interests me in the second half of the year because, we've played a majority of our division games. We haven't played all the Boston games. Maybe those will, start to mean more when they come along. But I mean, this has just been such an enjoyable start. And this Yankee team has so many storylines, and it's just awesome. I mean, you could run through the whole roster and be like, yeah, like you could tell a story about each and every player, about how they came into the season, like what the peripheral was for the season for them. And, some guys didn't have a peripheral. Maybe there was just nothing for them, like Matt Carpenter. I mean, in AAA on the Rangers, like there's no outlook there. You got like Jersey Shore kid, Ron Marinaccio, like who knows? Like I can go on and on. Nestor Cortez. It's just like there's something new every day. This team finds a way to win every day, a different way to win every day. And I'm just kind of speechless.
That's the thing too, where it's like sometimes we'll win a game 6-5, higher scoring. And then when we score 3 runs, the other team will score 2 or 1 or 0. Like it just hasn't mattered. We won games every way possible, and we're just inventing new ways to win at this point.
It's great. And one note, I haven't gotten an updated because we're 15-18. This is when we were 49-17. And I couldn't find an updated one, but that 49-17 start is the second best in franchise history. And that's awesome. I mean, it's the New York Yankees. It's not like we're the, Minnesota Twins, and we don't have much of a history. I mean, this team is historic. Like, we're doing big things early on. It's just a matter of closing out. And, number one on our goal list is to move some stuff around at the deadline, and then it's lock up the top seed and then close out. So we talked a while ago. I think the last episode was June 7th, so a little bit over 2 weeks ago. We went into Minnesota and we took 2 out of 3. Now, the starting pitching in all 3 of the games was suspect. You're playing a division leader, good hitting team, and you get 2 mediocre at best, 1 horrible start. And it was a weird feeling because it was like, okay, like we just played like a legitimate offense, a team that's like winning their division. Yes, it's the Twins, and yes, we took 2 out of 3. But what's going on? Because it's Taillon. Like we've seen GMO pitch pretty bad. We know that Nestor was once human. So that was a little weird. But we did take 2 out of 3, and we hit a ton of
Cole
home
one was
runs.
bad. That was the only one. The Cole one, that was the only one where I actually like rose an eyebrow. Like, it made sense. Like, Taillon got hit a little bit. Like, that was another thing. Neither him or Nestor like imploded.
No,
they just weren't like to the standard they have been, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, Garrett Cole gave up 3 home runs on the first like 5 pitches of the game. That was actually concerning. He had nothing.
And then 2 more.
Yeah, like we can't go into a game where we have to win and Garrett Cole has nothing.
Yep.
Ever. Like, that can't happen. So I don't know. He's bounced back since then, but that you can't have that. That's something I can't see again.
You can't see it, but it's funny because like we said in the open, this team finds new ways to win. And that night was just hit a bunch of home runs with 2 of the least scary hitters in the lineup with Hicks and Gallo. So, and Gallo hit 2 and Hicks hit 1. So that was a pretty interesting ball game, because when your starting pitcher gives up 5 home runs, no matter who that starting pitcher is, and your team's able to say, hey, so-and-so, we got your back, we're not out of this. It's a pretty good feeling. Somebody who has really, really, really came on in the last, say, month, maybe over a month, is Gleyber Torres. This guy is so back. This guy is back to being awesome. Let me read you his last 30 games. Luke, can I read you his last 30 games?
You can do whatever you like.
He's hitting 282 with 8 home runs, 14 RBIs. He has a 331 on base percentage and a 591 slugging percentage. That's a 922 OPS, if I do math correctly. And it's in 110 at bats. 24 runs scored. This guy is doing everything right. He's top 5 in the MLB at second base, defensive runs saved. He's doing it all. He's back to second base. Everyone's prediction that going back to second base would fix him has looked to be true. And he's just a much more comfortable player. He's back to his 2019 self. He might not be hitting all the home runs against the Orioles. He's actually hitting home runs against legitimate ball clubs, legitimate pitching. And I mean, one of the things that we said at the beginning of the year was, if Gleyber Torres is on, and you combine that with, our boppers, Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, Donaldson, so on and so forth, this team's going to be really good. And you could just look at the standings.
What would you have said at the beginning of the year? Because there was a lot of debates. We had 5 infielders. There's 4 infield positions. And out of the 3 that can play, like up to like second, short, and third, or second and third is kind of like the debated ones. There's Gleyber, DJ, and Donaldson.
And yeah. You got you.
You know what I mean? Like those 3 for 2 spots, and Gleyber's at the top of those 3. like I would have been like, you're out of your mind. Cause
Yeah.
like what? But he is like kind of significantly.
Yeah.
Like right now, he's locked in every single day.
Every day. Except for
So,
yesterday when they played him at shortstop.
yeah, that was nuts. I hope they never do that
Never.
again.
Never. Back to second base.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it
you're
wasn't
right.
even like
You're
like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
the one above the other two. Like now it's DJ and Donaldson for a spot, which is nuts. I never would have predicted that.
I knew that if they gave him at bats, that was obviously his best chance at and getting going. And do you remember earlier in the season when they would just sit him on random days? Like he's playing every day. He's a role on this team. It's locked in, and he's just making the most out of it. And this is the guy that I want. He was a guy that I was thinking like maybe like he plays like better this year. We move him because he's still super young, super controllable, lots of value, sort of. But now it's like I just want him on the Yanks. Like this is the guy that was my favorite player for 2-3 seasons, and then kind of took a turn for the worse. So personally, I love it. I'm a big Gleyber guy. I always have been, and his defense at second base has been really good. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. He's just really
back.
good.
Like that's
He's
what
back.
it is. He's back.
He's not
Great.
really walking, but his last 7 games, he's got a .423 on base percentage. So he's getting on base a lot more. He's hitting .348 over the last 7 games.
We got some give and take with his rise, and DJ's kind of like not like the other way. They kind of crossed a little bit. It's like,
It's almost like DJ's having the same season as he was last year. His numbers are very, very similar. Higher OPS. The home runs are he'll probably hit a little more home runs, but the batting average is just not there,
You pulled up his savant. The barrel percentage is what is concerning.
Yeah, it's hurting him.
It's terrible.
It's at 32%.
And it makes sense too.
It does make sense, but then if you combine the barrel percentage with the expected batting average, which is in the 84th percentile. So DJ,
how's that?
It's just because that's kind of the player he was. He was a bigger barrel guy, obviously in his better years, but it kind of just shows how good of a hitter. And I know he's hitting 260 right now, but he's supposed to be hitting, according to the expected batting average, 290, which is 31 points higher than his actual batting average. And it was pretty similar last year. He's one of the most unlucky hitters in baseball. So the fact that he's not really barreling everything, and his expected batting average is still high, I still have hope, because once he starts barreling these baseballs, his expected batting average is going to grow, and so is his actual average. And I hope by the end of the season, just from the expected batting average alone compared to his average, it kind of levels out and we get a 275 to 280 DJ, because I think that's really good. Now you look at his other peripherals, 94th percent in whiff rate, 93% in K rate. Like, this guy's not striking out. He's got a 69th percentile in walk rate. He's still walking. He knows the zone. That's something he'll always do, and he won't strike out. And that's what we want at the top of the order. Now it's just getting aboard and setting the table for the rest of the hitters.
If he he keeps hitting ground balls to second base. Like, I feel like he just does it every game, at least once. If he just turns those to the base hit to right fields, like if he just barrels those and hits them to right field like he had been doing the last couple of years, I think what you said about barrel percentage and expected batting average, like, I don't like to live and die by these stats, but it simply shows there's a lot of room to grow for him.
Yeah.
Where it's not like he's barreling everything and just not getting hits, because then that would be a whole other confusion and change. Like, I definitely think there is some room to grow. I think the exit velo could grow too. The average exit velo is right around average, which I think also barreling it obviously correlates. So that makes sense as well.
Right.
But
I just think it's some adjustments. He's got to make some adjustments, and he's going to figure it out. He's a smart guy. He knows how to hit in this league. He's won batting titles in both the American League and National League. I think the thing about DJ is a lot of teams used to shit. And Luke and I talked about this the other night when I had my hour-long DJ call with Luke. Teams used to shift this guy, and they don't really do that anymore. They play him straight up. So the game has kind of changed a little bit for him. You would think that you'd start hitting the ball better with the shift, without the shift.
Yeah.
But the thing is, DJ was beating the shift left and right when he was on in 2019, 2020. So here he is getting played straight up. He's not really the same kind of hitter. He's kind of hitting the ball in the spots where they weren't. And he still is. It's like he hasn't really changed. It's just they're in the right spot. So if DJ's going to be our leadoff man, which some will say is probably our only option realistically in a playoff series on the roster currently, I need his on-base percentage to be at least 350. That's just my line for a leadoff man. It's currently 341. Like I've been saying, I think it's going to change. I think his average is going to get up to 275, 280 by the end of the season. His on-base percentage will hopefully be in the 360, 370s. I think that really successful teams need have on-base freaks at the top of the order. And like I just said, I hope DJ can turn things around. So I'm not opposed to batting judge leadoff or hitting judge leadoff. I'm not. It's just like, obviously it goes against the traditional norm. And obviously the way he's been swinging the bat, it makes sense to get him more at bats at the top of the lineup. But if you go into a playoff series, batting Aaron Judge leadoff just doesn't work. You got to bat Judge in a spot where you're going to get some guys on. If that's second, if that's third, second's cool, third's cool. We want guys on base for Judge. I know his postseason numbers aren't great, but the thing in the postseason is, and this is why we lose a lot, because we don't hit enough home runs in the postseason. We kind of just go dead and hit some home runs, but home runs with runners on base are so huge. So getting Judge up with a chance to hit a home run with 2-3 guys on, that's what we want. And batting him first, the bottom of our order has proven to be pretty bad. So he's not going to come up with a bunch of guys on base. It's kind of like it's a solid idea during the regular season. You bat him lead off, you set up your guys behind him, but I just can't see that in the playoffs.
If we trade for another lefty, like we've talked about Benintendi a ton, Hap's another option. Like there's lefties out there to get. I could see Rizzo as well.
Yeah.
Like less. That's kind of the similar thing where he hits, like Rizzo's on pace for like 40 plus home runs right now.
Yeah.
Like again, you still want people up with him on base, but I don't know what numbers say, but he feels like are most likely to like walk too.
Yeah, I mean he works at bats. He does.
He's dangerous with the bat, but he's also always capable of walking. That's always part of his game. So I think if we got Benintendi, I don't know, it's just hard because we don't have enough lefties.
I mean, Rizzo's got 29 walks, 49 strikeouts. It's a solid. He's got a 338 on base percentage. So it's like, it's
deceiving for sure, but
it's deceiving. I just think like you were saying before with Rizzo, it's like he's always got a chance to hit one into the.
Yeah, I changed my mind because he hits with. Yeah,
but I was also considering that too. Didn't they bat him lead off in the wild card game, or am I totally wrong about that? I'm pretty sure they did, because it wasn't Judge and DJ wasn't playing. So I'm pretty sure they bet lead off.
Makes sense. But he's also great with runners in scoring position too.
Yeah. So
for the most part. So I don't want to do that.
It's a similar thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, Judge is the better hitter. But you want Rizzo in that maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 range. So if you go and trade for Benintendi, which is kind of the popular belief, it's the preferred trade candidate for a lot of people and probably myself, but you're not going to go trade for Andrew Benintendi solely to bat him leadoff, because his on-base percentage this year is only 15 points higher than DJ's. And like I've been saying, I think DJ is going to get it up. So I just don't think Benintendi's really like a guy that you're just going to stick in bat him leadoff. And he's been a fine leadoff hitter in his career. He's a 263 leadoff hitter. Pretty sure his OPS is just under 800. So that's great. And he's done it quite a bit. I think he's 76 starts in the leadoff spot in his career. But Benintendi's a guy that you're probably going to bat 6th or 7th, get him lower part of the order. So you have a more, long lineup. So it's just not going to be Benintendi in the leadoff spot. I don't think it's realistic to think that you're going to go to the deadline and just pick up a leadoff hitter. I said that really good teams have on base freaks at the top of the lineup, on base freaks that know the zone and mostly get hits. So it's not like a Joey Gallo kind of idea last year where you're going to go get a guy who walks a bunch and put him at the top of the order, because that clearly didn't work. There's got to be a balance there. And Joey Gallo didn't have a balance. And he didn't bat at the top of the order. So I don't know why I'm bringing him up, but
more like Hicks. There was a conversation. Yeah. Even some this year, I think he's another one. He just doesn't like get enough hits.
He doesn't get enough hits. And it's like, here's the thing. Like if the guy, and this is kind of a funny way to look at it, if the guy's not going to hit with runners in scoring position, I almost want him up at the top of the order, because the bottom half of the order is not going to get on. Like the 8-9 guys are not going to get on consistently. So if you bat Hicks leadoff, maybe against lefties only, maybe you sneak him up there. I don't know. I just want to see DJ thrive in the role that he's paid to play in, and he's been our leadoff man for 4 seasons, and 4 or 5 seasons now, and I really want him to, like I said, get at the top of the order, set the table for the boppers. And, I have confidence in number 26.
One like devil's advocate thing about Benintendi hitting leadoff was you go say Benintendi, Judge, Rizzo. Late in the game, or like mid to late in the game, you're going to get Judge a lot of at-bats against lefties.
Yeah.
Or it could prevent them from bringing in lefties to face that 3 for Benintendi and Rizzo, because Judge is there and you got to throw 3 batters. So I think that would either benefit Judge significantly or Rizzo significantly. So I think that could be something where, in terms of matchups, that just something that doesn't show up on paper, but we see it when it's happening.
Do you want to hear something interesting? Because I was just looking it up. Aaron Judge this season against left-handed pitching is hitting 211, but against righties, he's hitting 339. So he's got complete reverse splits. I get what you're saying there.
That's just stupid. Why does he hit 200 against lefties?
I don't know. I'm not trying to be that guy to point that out.
No, that completely that good, because I would have thought, oh, sick, that's gonna happen, and then we would get
Stanton's more the guy, and I don't really want Stanton hitting at all right now, but Stanton's more the guy that you stick kind of sandwich in between lefties, because he like career-wise kills lefties. Like that's his game. But for some reason, I mean, for as good Judge is playing, he's got a 766 OPS against lefties in 90 plate appearances, but in 199 plate appearances, the guy's hitting 339 with 19 home runs, 36 RBIs, and an 1136 OPS. So there's just a complete drop off with that. Just weird.
So when DJ gets it together and we run out DJ, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Benintendi, Gleyber, we'll never lose.
Because they're not gonna go out of their way to just pitch a lefty against Aaron Judge. Like it's not something like you're gonna go for the righty matchup, because then you're facing DJ. Like it's like.
But I'm saying, I was just saying like after DJ, where it's like the 3 in a or Bennett they would avoid bringing a lefty, but they wouldn't. But then if it's Rizzo, Stanton, Benintendi, I think that again that still plays. Like that's still something that teams are gonna have to think about. So man, we need that one more piece. It really feels like Benintendi, and I think that would obviously we don't need it for the regular season, but you got to kick it up like a gear in the playoffs.
Another guy, I mean I agree with you. I do. Another guy that's interesting because he hits and he gets on base, and it's someone that we've talked about a lot, is Ian Happ. This guy's hitting a switch hitter, 289 average. He's got an on base percentage of 387, and has an OPS of 854, which I believe is the exact same as Anthony Rizzo's. 7 home runs, 32 RBIs. He's got 5 steals this year, but 36 walks and 52 strikeouts.
They may do that.
That might be the
They
move.
may do that.
He might just
wouldn't
be
be mad at. Yeah, no, it's like a 1A, 1B type. Like they get either. That works. That works better a little bit.
It does work better than Benintendi. It's going to be a little more expensive than Benintendi, but it works better. And we're looking for, we're going all out. He's got an OPS plus of 139. He's a legitimate player. Ian Happ's a move. I'm just scared, and they might not do this because they might try to squeeze the, out of the value out of Contreras, Happ, maybe even David Robertson. I don't know how much they're going to get for David Robertson, but they might just try to trade them individually. I'm scared Houston's going to try to trade for Happ and Contreras, but it's a move that the Yankees should really consider making because it would really be good at the top of the order. Now, if you sandwich DJ up with 2 power hitters, I think it works beautifully because DJ gets on, then you got another power hitter. I don't want to put DJ next to like an IKF or like even like an Aaron Hicks, because like if DJ gets on, like Hicks does nothing with runners on. So it's like,
yeah, it would have to be Hicks above DJ, which that's just lunacy.
It's like I wish you could just put DJ in between Rizzo and Stanton, but that just doesn't align with the lineup. You couldn't do that. I guess you could.
Yeah, unless you hit him. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So I really don't know how they would work that out, but Happ's a switch hitter, and I do like that at the top of the lineup. And most switch hitters are good against only one side of the play. I'll confirm that. He's been pretty solid against both sides. He's got over an OPS of over 800 against both sides. As a left-handed batter, he's hit 264 in 210 plate appearances, and as a right-handed batter, he's hitting 360. So it is a steep decline, but it's 100 points, but he still has an 800 OPS against right-handed pitching, and that's what you're going to face most. So
yeah,
it would be. I
like that one too.
I do. I do too.
Whoever we get, Houston's going to get the other one.
Yeah, probably. So that brings us, we're talking about the Cubs. Then we went on to sweep the Cubs back at home. So you take 2 out of 3 from the Twins. You come back.
I forgot the series even happened.
Yeah, no, it
was just so relevant. Like
it was so relevant. It was the easiest series we'll probably play all year. Easier than the Orioles series. So one thing that stuck out to me in an article came out in the New York Post, and we faced, is his name Matt Swarmer? Is that his name? So yeah, Matt Swarmer started the game against Severino. I believe it was the second game of the series. Yeah, Matt Swarmer. He's a rookie. He is 28 years old, but he is a rookie. So he comes in and we hit, I think, 5 or 6 solo home runs off him or something crazy. And there was an article in the Post. Steve Serby does these Q&As. And this one was, spotlighted on Matt Carpenter. And when Matt Carpenter was asked about his first time playing in Yankee Stadium, he went on to say this: there's an all factor, especially with younger players. You got younger players having to pitch for the first time in Yankee Stadium, and that's a big deal. And a lot of times it ends up being a major factor in performance as far as swaying it towards the Yankees side. So no doubt is it a hard place to play for younger players, but there was something about what he said that just made me feel different about this group of guys. And maybe it's just Matt Carpenter. In the past, and I used to talk about it all last year, we probably got sick of it. When we would face guys that we had never seen before, regardless of home, away, on Jupiter, whatever, in a cornfield, we wouldn't hit. Like, we just wouldn't hit guys that we never saw before. And typically it would be younger pitchers. This year, it's just totally different. We've got veterans who just know the zone, know how to hit, and just take advantage of these young guys. Like, we haven't got shut down by like a young pitcher. What?
Like they look like prey out there. Like every at bat, you think is going to be a bomb. It's crazy. It really is. It's true though. That's how it always should be.
Yeah, that's right. So, that's just something that he said. Matt Carpenter, he hasn't really played a lot lately, which I don't really understand. Like, I really don't understand. Like, I feel like this guy hasn't played in 2 weeks, and he's probably played once or twice. He needs to be in the lineup like more. Like, we're up 12 games on the second place team. Can he start getting?
We just got to get DJ and Donaldson going. I think that's why he's not playing.
Yeah,
they're both kind of off. Right. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll work its way in, but this Cubs series. I mean, I was at the first game. Yep. It was so boring. We just couldn't hit for some reason. Trevino walked it off.
Did you see Clark Schmidt? Clark Schmidt gets the line drive, throws it back to second, and then he runs off the mound. Dude, he was hucking 101 miles an hour. Where was that last night? I'm just kidding.
I mean, that guy last night. Paredes, he was just off. Like that was one of those things where
it's just like they
and I'll say this, home runs.
Yeah, just wait till what I say later about it, because it's actually kind of funny how the Rays kind of just manage their sort of roster and how they move things around so quickly and just without So what else do I want to talk about? So the Rays came to town and we swept them. I mean, we just swept. I don't really know what else to say. Some of the games got a little, nail biting, but yeah,
so cool.
Yeah,
that other angle that everyone posted where it was like it looked like a movie.
Yeah,
he had a huge week.
Yep,
good for him.
You're at that game too.
I was at that game.
You could have been at 2 walk-offs and you left one.
I was at 2-2-1 games.
Yeah.
So the bats just take off when I'm there. I guess I can't go to any playoff games. But that's what it takes. No, yeah, they just I feel like we get so comfortable and we just know we're gonna pull it out.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. You're not gonna be able to hit every day. Like it's just baseball.
No.
Yeah, we just keep finding new ways to win, like I said.
But Garrett Cole was pretty legit against the Rays there. Like at home, he had a really nice outing.
He did. He struck out everybody.
He struck out everybody, and he just really looked comfortable. And coming off that terrible start in Minnesota, like he needed to bounce back. Like if he had had a bad start, if he had a 2021 Rays start at home, we may have sent him to the moon. Like I would have been enraged and I know we end up sweeping and it probably would have been 2 out of 3, but it's just Garrett Cole needs to be good. And there's always, he just has to be good. And especially with, some of our pitchers looking a little different lately. And it's just baseball. Like I said, if the hitters, rise to the occasion and the pitchers kind of, fall a little bit, there's got to be a balance. We're going to keep winning games and we have been, but it's, Garrett Cole's got to be Garrett Cole because he's hopefully one of the more reliable guys in our rotation.
I feel like he can't pitch to contact.
Oh no, it's strikeout or home run,
which is terrible. Like I don't want that.
I don't either. He pitches like a relief pitcher. It kind of feels like that. He kind of pitches like a controlled Aroldis Chapman, where it's just like
you're 1,000%
in the zone, home run, strikeout, home run. It's really kind of like disappointing.
Dude, get a ground ball pitch.
Well, he has developed that new cutter, which all
that
the
he
pitchers started using. And
right.
And it's been great. Yeah,
I heard he scrapped a pitch before his last start. After the Minnesota. One pitch he threw 0 times.
I saw him throw it a couple times against Tampa. I could be totally wrong.
Could be a different pitch, but regardless, he needs to get a pitch where.
Well, he used to throw a sinker, but Houston.
Well, that was the sticky stuff stinker. That's just
no. He was throwing it in Pittsburgh, and he got to Houston and they scrapped the sinker.
Yeah, that makes sense because he wasn't.
But Tyone used to throw a sinker on Pittsburgh. Came to the Yankees. Wasn't throwing it, got shelled, had a revelation, and threw the sinker again, and he's the pitcher he is right now. So
he's good.
And so, yeah, in a perfect world, Garrett Cole throws a sinker and it works. But that's just
any
not gonna be
pitch
the case.
that
But the
can
mud
get out.
I came out yesterday. MLB's requiring muddy baseballs at every single ballpark, and that should be really good for just consistency. A guy like Garrett Cole gets mentally spun off by little things, and I guess when you're a pitcher and you're giving it your all and you can't because of the baseball, I get it, I do. But now every baseball has to be mud rubbed, and he might just start. You might just start seeing a difference. You just might start seeing a little bit of a different kind of pitcher, and we kind of just are the last couple outings. So he dices, Rizzo goes deep. I don't know how much more to. Well, we had an opener game with Clark Schmidt. It was the Rizzo game. Clark Schmidt, Ryan Weber. This guy came out of nowhere. He's not even on the Yankees anymore. So just an all-around good series. It felt good to really just sweep the Rays and put them in their place. Kind of felt like 2019 when we would just beat them every time.
We have gotten some nostalgia just beating everybody again. It's been a while.
It has been a while. So if you want to take a look at the All-Star ballot update, and I'm a big All-Star game guy, and Luke's not really a big All-Star game guy. And I get it. It's not for everybody. It's just been kind of like it's a nostalgic thing for me. I just like to go see my players out there. There's the link right there. So I'm looking at it, and, like I said, big All-Star game guy. I kind of know how this works. The Blue Jays always get a bunch of votes, and that's just how it is. They have a whole country backing them up, and you could be like, oh, well, there's Yankee fans all around the country. Well, it doesn't work like that. New York is just so big. So it's you got all of Canada voting for their guys. It kind of was like this with Kansas City the other couple of years ago, maybe 2015, 2016, but this is different. Alejandro Kirk has the third most votes, and I believe the American League. Yeah, in the American League.
It's just a meme.
It's a meme, and he's got a whole country voting for it. So our guy Jose Trevino, maybe he doesn't start okay, and maybe he'll just sit at second in the rankings, and that's beautiful. He'll make the team. But Kirk has almost 700,000 more votes. I mean, Trevino's on the Yankees, right? So Alejandro Kirk is 1 million votes. You moved to first base. Okay, Vlad's the leader. Vlad can start any year. Although Luis Arias has 307,000 votes, and that needs to change. So you move to second base. Altuve. Okay. All right. Whatever. But then it's 710 for Altuve, 522 for Espinal, 514 for Andres Jimenez, and then Gleyber Torres is 379. And he's having better years than all three of them. So that kind of bothers me, because now Gleyber's not going to make the All-Star team. You might make the final vote, but probably won't. Rafael Devers, third base, over Jose Ramirez. All right. Whatever. Bo Bichette? No. Just no. And I know Luke just wants to go nuts here because he just doesn't like Bo. And Bo's having a fine year. It's just not good. It's not great. It's like between good and fine. It's like right there. And it's just, for his standards, it's
good
not
for power numbers.
Sure.
Like
it's
everything.
mid. It's pretty much mid everything else. He's got like 60,000 more votes than Tim Anderson. But I mean, Tim Anderson's hitting
Tim Anderson's
hitting 360. And he's got like an 800,000 OPS, and he's just much better. And I know it's early. And we got our guy IKF sneaking in there at 5th, more votes than Correa.
Really? That's funny.
DH, Jordan, whatever. He can be the DH in the All-Star game for the next 23 years. And then Judge, Trout, Springer, and Stanton 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually kind of surprised Stanton's 4th. I really am. And then Gallo somehow 15th. Who let that happen? Where's Aaron Hicks? Where's Aaron Hicks?
I mean, if Gallo's 15th,
I didn't know all of Italy was voting for him.
Yeah, if Gallo had 8, if Gallo was 15th, Hicks should be in the starting.
That's ridiculous.
I
Why
just
is it like that?
I don't. This is why I don't like the All-Star game. Like, it's just like, yeah, all right, yeah. Let's have a Blue Jays team. They're 12 games out. Blue Jays celebration team. They haven't done anything.
Gleyber, Judge both deserve to be on the team. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Nestor Cortez deserves to be on the team. That's just what it is. Luke and I talked. It's either Tyon or Montgomery. They're not going to put both. They probably could, but they won't. They're both pitching great. Garrett Cole, it really depends how he might just get put in because he's Garrett Cole. He did last
year. Yeah, like Stanton.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, Stanton's always been a DH. He's actually getting outfield votes this year, which is different. So it's
different. He wouldn't get it if he was DH because Jordan.
Yep.
Right.
And then Michael King should, but he probably won't. And Clay Holmes
because of Holmes. Yeah, because of Holmes. So that's
probably. So I think 5 All-Stars on a probably, if you had to guess, how many wins do you think the Yankees right now are going to win?
In the whole season? 111.
111. So
or 109. Not 110 though.
109.
Either 109 or 111.
Okay. The 2001 Mariners went 116 and 46.
I don't want to break it at all.
All right. I
don't want to break that record.
Those are expectations that I don't want.
You could clip that. If we break that record, we're going to lose it in the playoffs.
Maybe the first round.
You may not win a game in the playoffs.
We might get swept at home against the Indians. The Guardians, who are now in the playoffs over the Rays. Booyah.
That's good.
I've been saying it. Look out for the Guardians. Galaxy.
We can't beat that record.
Can't. It's got to be
dead serious.
112 or 113. That's what I'm going with.
I almost we'll
go 113.
We'll punt in September. I don't care.
Actually, 112. Then it's a round loss number. So after sweeping the Rays, we're going into our gauntlet of a schedule. We sweep the Rays. Now we're going to Toronto, and Toronto's obviously just not the most ideal place to play. In game 1, the Jays grabbed an early lead, and we could have just laid down with dogs. We could have just, took the day off, whatever. But we didn't. And we literally stuck it to them. I think we scored 7 runs in an inning. Like bing bong.
Oh my God. We were winning that. We were losing that game. We won 12-1.
Yeah, we were losing 1-0. And then we just stormed all the way back. I was
at dinner. Great. It went from 1-0 to 10-0 really fast. So
yeah.
All right. I guess we're going to blow them out here.
Then game 2 comes around. And all right, Alec Manoah's pitching, not the best matchup. J-Mo's pitching, still
we were underdogs.
J-Mo. Underdogs. Bases loaded. Hicks comes to the play, and you're like, oh, inning's over, right? Inning's over, right? Like he's just going to pop out to third base, right? Foul territory. Nope. Lines it over your new first baseman, Kevin Biggio, and to right field. And it cleared the bases. And it was a 3-run double. And it was amazing. And we won because of it. And because J-Mo was just nails.
He was nails.
He was so
we won
nails.
The game on 1 hit.
So Aaron Hicks, he has, just like Anthony Rizzo, the beloved Anthony Rizzo, was bitten by the May bug. He just did. Like the June swoon, but like the May bug. In the month of May, Aaron Hicks hit 127 in 71 at-bats. Couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Okay, fine. Go back to April. In 17 games, he had 49 at-bats. He hit 306 with a 793 OPS, a 426 on-base percentage with a home run and 10 walks. All right. How about in the month of June? He's played 17 games. He has 57 at-bats. He's hitting 298 with a 385 on-base percentage and a 404 slugging. Comes out to a 789 OPS with a home run, 8 RBIs, 6 walks.
Well, the hits have been important, so it's even like.
And the hits have been.
That's what it is. If
as
he's
of
hitting
recent, important.
If he's hitting a 780 OPS and the hits are important, that's incredible.
Incredible. He can play.
That's what was
day.
wrong at the beginning was they weren't important, so it felt inflated. And then he was just terrible, and now he's good and it's important, and it's like he's a real piece of the team.
If Aaron Hicks was just good, we wouldn't have to trade for an outfielder. We didn't have to give up any prospects. We wouldn't have to spaz and make a trade. It's just how it is.
He could be an outfielder.
I know you want an outfielder because you have no belief in Hicks, and I
have minimal.
And I don't have. I'm not a true believer, but if he's good, then let's roll. Gallows stinks.
Well, yeah, if he keeps this up, yeah, Gallo's done.
Gallo's gotta go.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just terrible. If he has to be a non-factor. If if Hicks was hitting 780 OPS all year and walking a ton and getting the job done with runners on base, then yeah. But we have time to see it because the deadline's a ways away still. Still got like a solid month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, he's kind of like we'll see what happens. Floor, fourth outfielder, and then above that, we'll see.
Yeah. And a quick note about Aaron Hicks's, well, a couple things. Currently this season, he's slugging 288.
Yeah, see, like that.
So he's got a slugging of 288. He just doesn't get extra base hits. It's absolutely terrible. And don't get me wrong. But if Aaron Hicks hits a power stroke of any kind, that slugging percentage is going to jump. And so is his 632 OPS. And I would not be surprised if his season-long OPS was started with a 7. It better start with a 7.
Like
that's actually it better start with a 7. I'm not praising a 7. A quick note, like I was just saying, his extra base hit off Alek Manoah with the bases loaded that knocked in 3 runs was his first extra base hit with multiple runners on in 5 years.
That's where you really lose me. That's just where I
get it. He hasn't played a lot, but still,
like,
it's ridiculous.
Dude,
just run into one, right?
Like hit a home run, dude.
Just hit a double.
Yeah, like poke one against the shift and get to second base. Like, come on. Yeah, we'll see what happens. He's not dead. He's very much in the picture.
He's in the picture. So game 3 rolls around and it's like, all right, we've won the first 2. And like, I'm a greedy person. So I'm like, we just come into Toronto and you can just sweep them. Give it to me. Especially in game 2 when we ran out probably our worst lineup of the season against one of the best pitchers in all of baseball and we still won. Let's go sweep. Why not? It took all that to win yesterday's game. Let's win today. Let's put out a lineup. Let's win. And we were supposed to. And Luke said it. We were supposed to. And, we used we used a lot of bullpen arms in game 2. We used a lot of King and a lot of Holmes. I'm pretty sure Holmes came in for a 4-out save. And King pitched like 2 innings. So Holmes might be available game 3, but King isn't. So when King's not available and you look at the bullpen, I like to say on the surface, Litke, Castro, Wandy, Marinaccio. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so.
Schmidt, but not.
Schmidt, but we just came off a start like a couple,
yeah,
You know, so it's like
we're missing our guys.
You get to this game and you're already without Green, you're without Loizaga, and you're without Chapman. It's one of those games where it's like, dang, I wish we had Chad Green. Because like at least you can like put a little trust in him as opposed to Miguel Castro who gets up there, walks everybody, and then just gives up a home run. Like that was ridiculous. And Hernandez knew it. You shouldn't be like throwing 98-mile-an-hour two-seam fastballs and then know it's like, and for them just to completely sell out on it and give up a home run. Totally inexcusable. Totally. I understand what Mets fans were talking about with Miguel Castro. I knew this was coming. I did. I didn't think he was this good. He's been on like 9 different teams in his career for a reason. I get Matt Blake's a genius. But you are what you are. So that was that one ate me up a little bit. And I was kind of like, dang, like we really lost that game. And then like we won the first game in Tampa. And I was like, all right, let's relax. We won the first game in Tampa. Good win. But I don't like losing those games when you have, I think, a 5-run lead. Those don't sit well.
We couldn't overcome my yearly jinx and a thin bullpen.
Almost did.
We almost did.
Aaron Hicks, big hit in the 9th.
He did have a big hit in the 9th. Got it to Rizzo. They should have I don't know.
I thought they were gonna pinch run Izzy for Giancarlo Stanton, and all of a sudden, Connor Fluff is just hurt. So
yeah, it's hamstring. But
hamstring. He says it feels good, which is good to hear. But they're gonna take it slow because you have this big lead. He's very important to this team. See, he would be a little less important if they still had Tyler Wade, but I'll stand whatever.
I mean, Marwin and Tyler Wade, it's like.
Yeah, but the thing about what IKF brings is what he can do on the base paths, and Tyler Wade did it just as well, in my opinion. Yeah, I think
we'll have LeCastro for the playoffs. So
sure. It's just with an injury right now.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
So Connor Fluffa goes down. They're going to take it slow. Whatever. Marwin steps in. He's done a pretty good job. I was going to talk about Josh Donaldson this episode. I'm going to give him another episode to figure it out. He did hit a pimp home run, and it was pretty cool after Kikuchi hit him in the back. So that was cool. But so then you go to Tampa Bay, and we're going to go over the first 2 games. You're going to hear this episode if you listen to the Monument Bark podcast, not on Z89 though. You're going to listen to this episode tomorrow, which would be June 23rd. You'll already know what happens in the 3rd game of the series, either a series win or a series loss. Hoping for the series win, but that's besides the point. Game 1, Garrett Cole versus McClanahan. This was a really fun game to watch. It was an entertaining game. There was a lot of dead spots in the game. Anthony Rizzo is just such a New York Yankee. I mean, this guy just wears pinstripes. Like he's just
They did the right thing.
He might wear pinstripe pajamas. I would not be surprised if he wears pinstripe pajamas. He's the guy. He's the guy. And yeah, Freddie Freeman would have been cool. And Matt Olson is Matt Olson, and Matt Olson got a bag. But right now, I kind of like the flexibility because I'm starting to see how important Aaron Judge is to this team. And if we were given Matt Olson the bag, and yeah, we wouldn't have had to, but it would have been ideal because he's got like an extra year. I'm
worked
cool
out
with this Rizzo because 2 for 32, 16 a year. All right. But he's got the options, and it's like, it's only 2 years if he stays. So, if he leaves, he leaves. And the only place he's going is Chicago. Like, that's the only place he'll go to. And they stink.
Florida.
Or Florida.
And they stink too. So it's like, whatever. He wouldn't go to the Rays.
Did you see him on the Rays?
No.
Mm-mm. Yeah, he probably wouldn't want to go there.
No, I don't.
And they would have to get rid of Choi, and that's not happening. So yeah, Garrett Cole dominated no-hitter into the 8th. So that's really, really good.
Got a little dicey.
Got dicey.
Dinky hits.
Dinky hits. Clay Holmes comes in. Boone says that he's going to put Clay Holmes in the highest leverage moments. And he put him in with 1 out in the 8th inning. So you think it's a 5-out save. Gives up a double, then a little infield single, and then it's, then it's a tie game. So once they tie it, I'm just not confident. I'm never confident going into extra innings against the Rays. It never really goes well, in the past at least. And boy, did it go well. I mean, see, Donaldson singles, and then Hicks comes up, who's just Mr. Clutch now because he just keeps getting clutch hits.
Yeah.
And he just hits a triple. And like it was up and away and he pimped it, but it was fine because he Luke voided it and got the third.
Somehow.
And it was great. It's because Margot
he broke his leg.
He, I think, strained his left knee, but they're really scared. It's like a patella tendon. So he's gone. And he was having a really good year, though. So
that's a pin in the balloon for them. Yeah,
and they have 14 other players on the IL, including Kevin Kiermaier, who just went on the 10-day. We can't lose this series to them. I'm sorry.
Is anybody good on the IL other than Wander?
He's a pretty good one.
Well, yeah. He was struggling this year.
How about their entire bullpen?
Okay, fair.
Nick Anderson. When was the last time we saw him? 2020 playoffs.
Well, yeah,
I thought a guy existed. But
Wander was struggling though. Like it just feels like nothing's gone right for them this year.
Yeah, no, they're in 4th place. Somehow the Red Sox
are the Orioles creeping? They keep winning.
No. They keep beating the Rays though. So
They're 7
Aaron
games
Hicks gets
out
the
of
hit. 7 games. Aaron Hicks gets the hit, and that was just so awesome. I was just so happy. Because then you go to the 9th, and then you get Aaron Hicks coming up with the fly ball that nobody was gonna catch.
Oh yeah, no one was catching that ball.
No one but Aaron Hicks. He's just the clutchest player ever.
They do that with the Gleyber will just roam out. Gleyber just roams out there, man. And
it's always so sus. And it's disappointing. But whatever. Cut the ball, we get the win. So game 2 comes around. I mean, Luke.
It was the Paredes game. Like
Isaac, not Isaac. Isaac. I just learned that yesterday. It's Isaac Paredes.
Isaac game.
So the thing that I wanted to say earlier was, so Austin Meadows, Tampa Bay Ray, they fleeced the Pirates for him. That's what it is. Austin Meadows was probably the biggest Rays Yankee killer that I've ever seen. Like one of them at least. He would just come in and just over and over and over and over and over. Home run, home run, home run. And he did it from day one. Yeah. They trade Meadows for Paredes. Paredes comes in, hits 3 home runs, and single-handedly beats us yesterday. I mean, that's just what it is. Because I was like, oh, they traded Meadows? Like, he's like one of the Yankee killers. Like, that's stupid. What happens? So,
what are you gonna do? There's nothing you can do. It was just his day.
Nestor was human again, but it's like he just saw the Rays. So I'm not geeking about it.
He's fine. He's not gonna give up no runs every start, but he's fine.
He's fine. And he's gonna make up for it. I know he will. So that kind of does it. I will be at tomorrow's game against the Astros on the field. So we'll have some cool videos on Instagram, little experience. Hopefully we win. Pretty sure it's Tyone versus the Frambler, but we'll see.
Time for us to get that one. That's another guy on the list.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to slap him around a little bit.
It would be, because he's a good pitcher, and I don't remember the last time we saw. Oh no, I think we beat him last year. So it is Valdez for sure, and then it'll probably be Tyone.
Was he pitching in that Garrett Cole 1-0 game?
He might have. Who didn't Judge hit a home run? Needed the.
Yeah, we got to start.
That team thought they were so cool. That team thought that was so cool. And Gary did it too. Yeah, he hit a home run. I mean, and then we blew it because of you.
My yearly jinx, my summertime jinx.
The Euro day.
Yep. Hey.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening and watching. Sorry for a little 2-week delay. We're just enjoying life and working and doing our thing. But
Winning.
no, we're back.
We had
Not on
something to
Z89.
complain about. It may have been a little more like, all right, we got to get on and do it, but there's nothing too much.
I mean, we're just going to talk about what comes up. We're going to talk about who's playing well, who isn't. And that's kind of just what the episodes are going to be until we really have something to talk about. And that's probably going to be the trade deadline. So that'll be interesting, but there's going to be a lot more until then. So thank you guys for listening and watching. Social media in the description, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, follow it all. Follow us on Twitter. Our handles are right below us. They always have been. So here they are.
I got to start tweeting again.
He does.
I used to be an every nighter.
He doesn't do it anymore. Thank you guys. Peace.